Hello pilots, it's Plasma 1945 and I'm taxiing out on the runway on Growling Sidewinder in an F-14 Tomcat. Now I'm going to go for a hunt and get a 60 mile, about 115 kilometer splash with a Phoenix. And I'll walk you through the steps to get that done. First things first, make sure you've got your jammers turned on and you've got your data link connected. After takeoff, make sure you don't have too many weapons. I'm carrying the 422 loadout, which means I've only got 4 Phoenixes. If you carry more than that, you will be much slower to climb to altitude. And of course, remember, when you're down low, your fuel efficiency is not very good, so you want to stay out of afterburner at 99% thrust without going into afterburner up until you get to about 15 to 20,000. Now for me, I use track while scan manual. This tells Jester to use a certain mode on the radar so that the radar isn't bouncing all over the place. I can also turn on my mirrors because of power of the video cards and fly along, building up speed and altitude. The ideal shot should be taken from over 30,000. Now point your radar in the direction where the enemy should be coming from. And remember, if you're flying on blue, that jammer that you're using may be a problem because enemies can lock onto your jamming signal. But here I can see a couple of hostiles coming in, one somewhere near Angels 30 and the second one behind him at Angels 20. What I need to do is I need to climb for altitude. The Phoenix missile has a very long reach, but you need to be high enough and preferably fast enough to take that shot. Now because these guys are already well on their way towards me at about 70 miles, I need to get to them close, and I changed my missile to be firing in a target size small, which means the missile will go active and start beeping only 7 seconds before it's supposed to reach the target. That means I have to hold the lock longer, but it also means that the enemy has less time to maneuver and escape from it. As I come up to 33,000, I fire my Phoenix on the first target. Off it goes into space, and there's a second target behind him. And there goes the second Phoenix as well. So now that both of these Phoenixes are in the air, and I'm high and fairly slow, I have to keep the targets within my radar azimuth. That's the V that will show up on your display between your knees. You're also looking for an X that might appear. If an X appears, that means you've lost track of the target has maneuvered, and you might as well turn cold, because if you're not guiding the missile until it gets close enough, well, you're going to be in trouble. So the missile actually rides the beam of communication from your airplane until it's within about 7 to 10 miles of the target. I fired the missile at almost 65, 66 miles, which means it's got a long way to go. So my radar has to be on the enemy plane, and it has to guide the missile to the target while I keep the enemy plane within that cone. Only when the missile goes active and the number starts blinking does that mean I can break off. So you really have to plan your targets, who you're going to shoot on, be at the correct position altitude, and then take your shots. Alright, so the first target started blinking, which means the missile's active. I no longer need to support, so now I can turn away as my missile goes into its pitbull mode right on top of this F-16. Now if you want to see the TAC view explanation of this fight, you'll see a link on this video popping up in the corner, and you'll be able to go to that video and check it out. And TAC view is pretty awesome for figuring out what you're doing with your airplane and what you can do better. Now here's the second missile. This one was fired on the guy behind the lead. Now this guy is flying an F-18. I can see it in the red color of his airplane, and he starts maneuvering. Now what he's going to do, he's going to go straight down. The missile tries to pull in after him, and as he defends down, the missile loses track, and unfortunately its battery has run out. So sometimes the limitation is your missile. Hopefully you liked this video. That was a 110 kilometer shot, and check out other videos on this channel. I'll catch you later.